Alderaan is a terrestrial planet in the fictional universe of Star Wars. It is the home of the characters Princess Leia, Bail Organa, Tycho Celchu and also, in 4000 BBY, Ulic Qel Droma who fought in the Great Sith War. It was destroyed by the Death Star's superlaser. Description: there are 3 descriptions or depictions of Alderaan, in the Star Wars Expanded Universe descriptions, considered a shining star of the core worlds. Wild grasslands and old mountain ranges dominated the planet's surface. Ice-rimmed polar seas were the only large bodies of water, though thousands of freshwater and saltwater lakes provided habitats for a large variety of flora and fauna. Alderaan was also the homeworld of some of the galaxy's most famous animals, such as the Nerf and the Thranta. Cities of Alderaan were often built with great care taken to protect nature. One city was built on the walls of a canyon, nearly invisible from above. Other cities were built on stilts along the shoreline or under the polar ice. The capital town of Alderaan, known for its university, was built on a small island in the center of a caldera. In Star Wars Episode III, Revenge of the Sith, Alderaan is seen briefly at the end of the movie where the newborn Princess Leia is taken to her adopted parents Bail Organa and his wife. The terrain of the planet appears to be mountainous in this scene. In Star Wars, Alderaan is seen only from space and appears to be an Earth-like planet covered mostly in water, and then as an asteroid belt called the Graveyard after its destruction by the Death Star. Culture: the Alderaanian people highly valued education, arts, architecture, poetry, the performing arts, and diplomacy. They placed high value in their participation in the Galactic Senate. It was a largely democratic society, and took the form of a hereditary constitutional monarchy that was ruled by a monarch from the historic royal house of Antilles and later, due to marriage, the House of Organa. It had a minister presiding over the High Court and Legislative High Council of Alderaan, and in various descriptions of this figure, styled first chairman and viceroy, he appeared to function as a generally benevolent leader. Its monarchs have variously borne the title of King or Queen of Alderaan. The ruler of Alderaan from the end of Revenge of the Sith to A New Hope was Queen Bria Antilles Organa. Queen Bria was married to Bail Organa, who served a term as senator during the events depicted in Revenge of the Sith, later serving as both prince consort and first chairman of Alderaan. Traditionally, the heir of the Alderaanian throne also served as a lawmaker, first locally in the High Council, then on Coruscant as an interplanetary senator for Alderaan. Queen Bria and Bail's heir and daughter was Princess Leia, who was serving as senator for Alderaan in the Imperial Senate during the events depicted in A New Hope. History and destruction: after the Clone Wars, Alderaan's massive war machine was dismantled and the weapons were placed aboard an armory warship called Another Chance. The ship was programmed to continually jump through hyperspace until called home by the Alderaanian Council. Alderaan became home to the majority of the remaining Kamorsi when their home world of Karamis was devastated by the Galactic Empire, as told in I, Jedi by Michael Stackpole. Alderaan was destroyed by the Death Star's superlaser in Star Wars at Grand Moff Tarkin's order as a demonstration of its power to the galaxy. Even though Princess Leia offered the location of an abandoned rebel base, Dantooine, Tarkin thought he won, causing him to order the destruction of Alderaan. The superlaser was then fired at Alderaan, destroying Alderaan's planetary shield completely upon contact. The hypermatter reactor had given the beam a superluminal boost, which upon contact with Alderaan's surface, pushed a large part of the planet's mass into hyperspace. The huge loss of mass forced the planet to expand rapidly like a balloon and nova, killing approximately 2 billion people. Despite Princess Leia's protests of Alderaan being a peaceful world with no weapons, the film's novelization states that the planet had armaments as strong as any planet in the Empire. Tarkin felt the rebels were growing bolder, and only a very public demonstration of the Death Star's power against a rebel target would succeed in frightening the Alliance into submission. Palpatine approved in advance of the destruction of the planet, but publicly adopted a benevolent persona, announcing that he was saddened by the loss of such a noble world. He added that, had Alderaan entrusted itself to Imperial protection, it would still be thriving. In other words, the destruction of Alderaan might not have been necessary had Bail Organa simply bowed before the Emperor. Although most Alderaanians died in the destruction of the planet, approximately 60,000 natives survived because they were off-world, and many of them relocated to New Alderaan, hoping to recreate the beauty that had been on Alderaan. The Emperor had made an apparently magnanimous offer to resettle the surviving Alderaanians who were away when their homeworld was destroyed on his private resort world. These people have lost a homeworld through no fault of their own. Offering them a new homeworld is the least I can do to compensate them for their loss. The planet's catastrophic explosion was not without detrimental effects to the Empire, however. Once word of the world's fate got out, thousands of Alderaanians who had been off-planet joined the Rebel Alliance. Alderaan's survivors became among the most dedicated soldiers of the Alliance, vowing never again to let the Empire destroy another world. Most Imperial military members from Alderaan immediately defected to the rebellion. A few of the Alderaanian survivors became supporters of the Empire, blaming the inept and traitorous first chairman Prince Bail Organa and the rebellion for opposing the Emperor and thereby destroying everything they had, even their loved ones. Princess Leia met one such supporter, an Imperial military officer, on the planet Bakura during a temporary truce between the Alliance and one section of the Empire. Survivors of Alderaan and their descendants practiced a ritual of returning to the Alderaan system. Returners would fill memorial capsules with gifts for departed relatives and friends and jettison them into the asteroid field, which was all that remained of the planet after its destruction. Some survivors, such as Tycho Celchu, had made known their desires to be buried amid the remains of their former homeworld after their deaths. With Alderaan destroyed, some council members led the people to New Alderaan, which was founded after the Galactic Civil War died down somewhat. The Royal House of Alderaan, in the person of Lion Organa Solo and her children, continued to hold sovereignty of both New Alderaan and the Alderaan system. The government on New Alderaan administers both systems. See also, List of Star Wars planets and moons. Further reading, A Guide to the Star Wars Universe 3rd edition, by Bill Slavicsik, Del Rey Books, The Essential Guide to Planets and Moons, 1st edition, by Daniel Wallace, Scott Collins. 1998. ISBN 0-345-42068-3, Star Wars, Rebel Dawn, by A. C. Crispin 1998. ISBN 0-553-57417-5, Star Wars, X-Wing, The Back to War 1 SP paperback printing, 1997. Michael A. Stackpole, ISBN 0-553-56804-3, Star Wars, The Annotated Screenplays, Softcover, 1997. George Lucas, Lee Brackett, Lawrence Kasdan, Laurent Bouzereau, ISBN 0-345-40981-7, Star Wars, Role-Playing Game Coruscant and the Core Worlds, hardcover 2003, by Craig R. Carey, Chris Doyle, Jason Ferry, Paul Sudlow, John Terra, Daniel Wallace, ISBN 0-7869-2879-4. References. External links, Alderaan in the official StarWars.com encyclopedia, Alderaan on Wikipedia, a Star Wars wiki.